Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 26, 2018, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, just two events starting at 4 o'clock South African time. We have ECB President Draghi will be speaking out of the euro, and then we have at 8:30 South Africa time, Governor Carney speaking out of the UK. Sure to move the markets a little bit. We'll take a look at these two symbols just later, but let's take a review of what's been happening in the markets. The dollar got stronger last week off of the Dow selling off quite sharply, but what can we expect next for the dollar? Now, also looking at the Dow, okay, it bounces off support this morning. And what now? What can we expect from the Dow in the next few weeks? And then we'll take a look at commodities in terms of oil breaking $55 support, and it's now at the next support of $50. Will it continue? Okay, we're going to take a look at that. And lastly, Bitcoin continues to sell off quite sharply below 4,000, and the question is, will it bounce? Okay, generally speaking, if you're asking why the cryptos are getting beaten up so badly, well, when there's a little bit of indecision in the market, when there's a little bit of fear in the market, the riskiest assets are usually the ones to sell off the most and the fastest. So that's why Bitcoin has been selling off so quite fast. But let's take a look at what we can expect later today. So this is Bitcoin. We're looking at it right now. And as you can see from our retracement, let's just jump into a weekly calendar. You can see that we set up this Fibonacci for quite a while ago. Okay, now we broke this 6,000. This was something of old news. We consolidated around this area, but really is showing a tremendous weakness. And then once we broke 6,000, all bottom is, the next bottom really is at $900. Okay, so ultimately speaking, this still has a lot more way to correct itself. Now we're under 4,000 and we're correcting itself. We're bouncing a little bit here, and I do expect a little bit of a rotation in the market. I think the Dow's going to solidify a little bit between now and the end of the year. And I think that there's going to be a bounce here. I don't think that we're going to have a massive rally. We're definitely not trending upwards, but I think there's going to be a little time of consolidation until this does change. Okay, not to say that in 10 years, Bitcoin's not going to go back to $20,000, but that's a longer term thing. But looking at it right now, this is what we can expect. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones as we spoke, we're solidifying here, okay? And we're also making a double bottom. If we look at this area right here, 24,242 is really that spot. We hit it last Friday as we sold off into last Friday, and we're bouncing off today. Now, if anybody has paid attention to the news, you'll also know that the consumers were spending 28% more this year on last Black Friday, which was this past Friday, which is one of the biggest shopping days of the year. 28% more than last year comparison. So the economy is still there. It's not going anywhere. However, some of the big name stocks did get beaten up this past year. However, it's not to say that the market is going and we're going to hit a recession. Okay, this is a correctional move. There's a little bit of a rotation in the markets, but nothing to hit the panic button, even though everybody's already hitting the panic button. Okay, so just be aware of that. Now, jumping into oil, we mentioned it before, breaking below $55, and you can't write this stuff up. This is just such a beautiful Fibonacci retracement. Okay, we had said this Fibonacci retracement about already 2 months ago. Okay, as we anticipated this second double top as we have here. Okay, you have this double top right here. Okay, and we anticipated that, and then we made a correctional move on the downside. Now, I would just, for appreciation purposes, I just want to highlight this. Okay, now we're looking at a 4-hour chart, and so this Fibonacci retracements were already there. Now, you really, we've been trending down tremendously for quite some time. Okay, selling off from $70, breaking the $60 support level, and then breaking further $58 support level right there, bouncing off of it, but not breaking out higher than your $58 resistance. And then we did it again. We broke it at $54, and then you're given another opportunity to short it at $54.90. So the opportunities are abound. Okay, now this has gotten sold off $25 since from the beginning of October, and now we look like we're actually bouncing here. Okay, now I don't expect us to break below $50. That's a really big mental number to break. Okay, so I do expect us to bounce off of this a little bit. Okay, maybe not go back to the $60 range, but a bounce, I do expect it. Okay, so, and the bounce might magnify itself all the way up to 54.90-ish level. Okay, and that's where I expect it to bounce. So just be aware of that as this continues to trade later today. Now, jumping into the euro and the GBP, so we're getting mixed signals here. The GBP looks like it's really weak, and the euro looks like it's really strong. We're looking at the euro right now, and it looks like it's forming an upside down head and shoulder formation. Look at that. Okay, there's your head. There's one shoulder right there, and that's your second shoulder right there. Okay, so just be aware that that's a bullish formation right there. So just be aware that that actually may fruit for us to clinch back to the 114-ish level. Now, if we look at the GBP, it's not doing that. Okay, it's hovering around its really lows. Okay, which, there's still a little bit of question as to what's going to happen with Brexit, what's the final numbers, how it's all going to happen, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to over analyze the news too much because we all don't know enough to really make any sort of assumptions about what's going to happen, but it is trading towards its low. Whereas the Aussie USD, as you can see here, is trading at the top of that range, not taking off, but not breaking down any longer. Okay, it's trading within that range and it's solidifying. Okay, so suffice it to say the dollar may continue to get weaker in the larger sense of things. Okay, but in terms of the Dow, we do expect it to bounce. So everything will be trading in tandem. Okay, so looking at that. Now, lastly, looking at Apple stock. Okay, now this got beaten up the worst. Okay, from $231 from the beginning of November, okay, to where it is right now. That's a massive retracement for any stock. And looking at Apple, that's really bad. Now, I do expect a bounce, okay? Possibly before the end of the year, we'll hit $200 range, okay? So look at that later today if we do get that bounce. Now, the markets in the States open at 4:30 South African time, so you won't be able to trade this until then, but keep an eye on this. This may even gap up, okay? So keep an eye on that as well. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.